inevitable.
You have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
I'm totally Batman.
Oh, man.
Shh. Communing with the earth spirits.
Welcome to California, bud.
Cowabunga.
And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour.
All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. March 4th, 2019, a day that will live in infamy. It was the start of the Secondary Heroes podcast. And so now we're celebrating our 3-year anniversary with a trip down memory lane of all that's changed for us, the podcast, and the world. And this is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, this is Prague.
This is Josh.
And hot off some jet lag, this is Alexander Wolfgang. That's right, I'm actually changing my name now. I'm not going to go by DeLorean Wolfgang anymore.
Wow.
Could that mean
Wow.
I'm going to sell my
Wow.
DeLorean?
Ooh.
Whoa, breaking news here in the 3rd anniversary of the
Wow.
Secondary Heroes.
He's actually giving it away. It's going to be a giveaway, right?
Ooh, it's a giveaway. Hey, make sure you throw a 5-star rating on iTunes, Spotify, and all that. We'll go through the names, and who knows, maybe you will be picked out to win a DeLorean.
Maybe.
Maybe. $5 an entry. Let's see what happens. My Venmo.
That might
is-
not be
thinking,
bad,
that's
actually.
low. I'm putting up... How many entries can we buy?
Yeah, for the one winner who just so happens to be Alexander Wolfgang.
Oh,
Unreal.
what?
Thank you for
Who's
playing,
this guy?
everybody.
Rigged.
Who's Alexander?
Oh, I know.
Sounds fishy.
Well, it
3
sounded
years.
so fake. 3 years of having a weird name. Now I'm
Hey,
going by
I'm
my
Prague.
real name. Yeah, that's true.
It'd almost be weird now at this point to call me anything else. So
That's
Here
true.
I
Very
am.
true.
True.
Anyways, so what are we doing today, Trevor?
That's a really good question. I mean, how do you mark 3 years? I don't even know what that is in anniversary terms. Is it like wood or something? I don't know any of it.
is it
Wood
wood?
ones. It starts out a
man.
lot worse. It gets better with like diamonds and stuff.
No, I think wood is 2 years. I'm pretty sure. I think plastic 3 years. Well, maybe the final.
Oh.
But
great.
the main thing is we're all gonna just have like a recap or a rendition of our not a rendition, but a recount.
Hello, my
Hello,
baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtop. Yeah.
That would be fantastic. We should do the 3 years in song for the episode.
Oh, we could have done. We didn't
Remember
start the fire
time
like
that
we did
went
for
to
that one.
Comic-Con.
Oh God, let's never do. We didn't start the fire. What episode was that? That was our 2 years, maybe.
Who knows?
What?
I
No,
remember
that was the-
ECCCCC to fill in the syllables.
We didn't start the fire was our end game coverage, I believe.
Oh
No,
wow,
Endgame was right at the
really?
start.
Yeah, I think that's what
That's
that
what's
was
so
for.
interesting
Though.
about our podcast is we started in March of 2019, and then Endgame came out in May. So like 2 months in, it's already Avengers Endgame and also Game of Thrones season 8's at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
that was
those
a
feel
pretty
like
big
10
year.
years ago.
Right?
It does. It
Especially
does.
with everything that has happened in the world since then, it's like a different
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
definitely a
everything
different
that
era.
happened in the world, and definitely a whole lot of changes with this podcast. We've gone through some weird changes through the years.
Yeah.
God, that sounds weird to say.
It does. It sounds like we've been doing this podcast for so long. I remember way back, episode 37.
Back when?
I was a different person then.
Completely different.
Good old days. But hey, we did get Josh to come back on for the 3-year anniversary. Welcome back, buddy.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be back. It's like riding
Yeah.
a bike.
Oh, that's
It's like,
good
yeah,
one.
it's like right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I guess so, yeah.
Even though we had to redo the intro 3 times. Yes, it's
Three
just
times.
like Mike.
For 3 years, we still can't get it down.
It-
Or is it just because...
It's just
Just
it's like a nervous tick type of thing. You just have to
Yeah.
get it going. That's good luck, right? 3-year anniversary, 3 intros.
Yeah, 3 intros.
Hey,
There you
that's
go. We
right.
had to do it that way.
Hey, stick
Yeah.
around to the end. I'm just gonna put all 3 intros at the very, very end, so you guys can hear our screw ups.
Man, bonus
That'll be
game.
your
I remember
Easter
when we
egg.
cared more about that.
They're like, what? Oh, skip to the end. All right.
Oh God, please don't do that. Oh,
No,
we need the
listen to us.
numbers,
Gotta hear us.
baby.
Yeah, we got to talk about our favorite episodes each, and
Mm.
maybe just memories that aren't episodes. Because when you look at it, it's amazing when you scroll through our podcast history. It's like, I don't remember that we did that, and it's like, oh yeah, yep, that was a thing.
I
Yeah.
don't know why it was a thing, but yes, that thing was a thing back then, and we talked about it.
Well, and now we're kind of almost doing the same thing, I believe, that we did with our second year. So, hey, if you want to go
Yeah.
back to our second year, yeah, you just reliving the third.
There you go. Exactly.
I don't
But what
even know
about the people that
happened
might
since
be?
year 2 to year 3?
Yeah. Yes. That's
I was saying, what about the people that are new here, Alex? That maybe just stumbled upon us. How can they find
Ooh,
us?
we're gonna go straight into socials right now. I love
Let's
it.
do it. That way we can
Well-
start talking about the good stuff.
Absolutely. You can check us out over on crossthestreamsmedia.com. Hey, and if you are on YouTube, check out our banner. I built that banner not too long ago for a different show, which is a whole nother thing that we tried to add as well. So crossthestreamsmedia.com. You can check us out there. You'll get all of our social medias, all of our episodes. You can do some really cool things like leave a voicemail for us. Actually, here's a voicemail right here.
Hey, boys and girl, if Michelle is there. This is Big Jeff. Just wanted to wish you a very, very happy 3-year anniversary on podcasting. Every single episode I look forward to from you guys, whether it's the funny, TV review, movie review, the shorts, Funko talk, or if it's, more serious topics that you guys have been choosing lately to discuss, which is, I think, crucially important. And kudos to you guys for doing it. But that's it. Just really wanted to wish you a happy 3 years and wish you many, many, many more years of good stuff.
Hey, thanks, Big Jeff. I know that I mentioned you. I don't know. When did I mention you? I called you Big John a couple weeks ago, and I apologize for that. But yes, it
That's
is
right.
Big
That was
Jeff.
funny.
Yes, so thank you, Big Jeff, for sending in your voicemail. And if you want to be a part of the podcast, and if you want to send in your voicemail, go to crossthestreammedia.com. You'll see our logo. Click that, and you'll see a little microphone icon. And there you go. But if you don't want to go over to Cross the Streams Media, you can check us out over on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Secondary Heroes. One word. It's pretty awesome. And keep in mind, man, we've been doing this for 3 years, and all of this is free for you, and it's priceless to us.
That's a lot of free content. 3 years worth of free content. What are we thinking?
I will say, don't
know.
go back to like the first couple episodes. Those
No,
were
do go
some
back.
hot.
Do go back. Yes. See how we progressed.
One
How
of
we
my
can really
favorite
appreciate
things
it.
ever is episode 1. We talked about
Oh,
the
no.
Lego Movie 2, and literally Chris Pratt voices it, and I call him Owen the entire thing, even though he's Owen in Jurassic World and he's Emmett in Lego Movie 2. But whatever, who's keeping track?
I wouldn't
know
remember
what?
his
Now I'm
name in
gonna
that
have to-
Chris
movie.
Pratt's gonna voice every character on the face of the earth at this point, so it doesn't matter.
It's true.
I didn't realize we talked about Lego Movie. I forgot. Okay.
Yes.
There we go. Auspicious beginnings. Mhm.
Well, and that's the thing is like our first episodes, we used to do these like episodes about like we had segments. Like we did a whole Fortnite segment because that's how we all kind of met each other and how we all got along was through Fortnite. And then we were like, hey, we should start recording this.
Because we're
And it-
funny, guys. Everyone wants to hear us,
Oh, we're so funny.
right?
At least that's what we thought. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a thought.
Always
don't
keep
know.
that to yourself and don't let other people know.
But yeah, so we had segments in our first I want to say it was almost like
The first year?
our first year of just doing those segments. Like we would do a TV segment, a movie segment, video game segment, and that was too much work. I remember
a lot of
thinking
research
that
and
was
thought.
a beating, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of dry, I think, in the beginning to do that. once in a while you'd hit on something with a hot take, and that was about it for the episode.
I
But it
remember
was
I
always
used to have
nice.
Trevor spoiler-free reviews.
Oh,
Yeah.
those were fun. Those were fun until it turned into full episodes.
Yeah.
Which are still super fun. Dude, when you go through your rants, those are great episodes, man. Now, Josh, you've come and gone. You've been in and out of the show. But for you, life has changed pretty big time. I mean, for all of us, really, in the last 3 years,
Yeah.
life has been pretty drastically changing. Why don't you start with what's been going on with you, man?
Oh, nothing really. just not wanting to do this anymore. No.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, Prague. So your turn, man.
No, I mean, I think for me, it's just, I ended up finding the person that I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I got married.
What's happening?
We moved into a house, which, strangely enough, we're working on moving to another house. So,
Hey,
this might be-
congratulations.
maybe next time I
man.
come
Common
on,
theme.
it's going to be a different place, but I don't know.
Okay.
And then, so with all that happening, I inherited obviously a wife and then a daughter along with that. So, but then on top of that, what was it? Probably about 2 weeks ago, we found out we're going to have another kid. So, life
Nice.
doesn't slow
Congrats.
down, So,
Oh my
Awesome.
god, dude,
So,
that's huge.
yeah, so we're excited. I think it's something that we're looking forward to, especially with all the change happening with us. We're excited to have that addition to this year. So, but yeah, I mean, staying busy, not a dull moment over here. Like I said, not just to plug the show, but I listen to it quite a bit every week. So
Aw.
I miss y'all guys. It's just crazy. I think of the podcast it's what gave me my outlet to kind of actually talk about the things that I love to talk about, which is movies, collectibles, whatever, and I look at when we first started till now, it's night and day. It's just how I was more of an introvert to where I wouldn't really talk to anybody about anything. Now I've gained a family, which is y'all guys, and I know we text each other. We still can't keep in contact, so it's always nice to finally see y'all when I get to come on. But I don't know. Maybe one of these days it'll be more of a permanent thing to come back on. But just trying to get life in order.
That's
Kind of get
awesome,
some
man.
stability. So
Nice.
I will see. But yeah, that's where I've been the past, I guess, year or so. I don't know how long.
Man,
it's
we
It's a
should have
lot. It's a lot.
we should have ended with you because
Yeah,
you've
I
got
don't think we can
some
follow
really
up on
good
Josh.
stuff.
So we're done with that section. It was super sweet. He covered
Bye.
everything.
And if you want to send a congratulations to Josh, make sure you go on to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
I think those 5-star ratings buy diapers, right?
yeah, I hope so. Yeah, you could always send diapers to it. Don't matter.
Do you know what you're having? Is it boy
No,
or
we
girl?
haven't found out yet. We will
Because I got
find
a whole
out.
lot of girl stuff that I'm going to be able to send to you.
Yeah, we'll probably find out later. We haven't really made it public to what's going on, but I know the family here on the podcast will let y'all know. But we'll make it once we find out the gender. There'll be a big old post about it everywhere. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's an exclusive right now.
This is an exclusive. This is very cool, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. That's
yeah.
awesome. Cool. And that's not only the big news that we've had in the last 3 years. I mean, Trevor, you've had a lot of changes as well, man. What's up with you?
My story's not too different than Josh's. I like that we our lives have some parallels to them. I mean, I met the love of my life. We're not married yet, but that will happen at some point. And then we got a house, and then somehow I got my dream job. And now, because that dream job is going to have me get a new house. So stuff's constantly happening here too.
It's incredible, man. Just think of where we were 3 years ago, man. We were all just a bunch of nerds just goofing off on Fortnite.
Right?
Yep.
And Prague, you've upgraded into a new living space as well.
Finally. Yes, it's been long overdue. And it's kind of nice to have my own podcast space and, freedom.
There you go.
It's a nice area that I moved to. I really enjoy it a lot. So it's been a good mental uplift for sure.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, we all need that mental uplift for sure. Yeah.
You?
What
And
about
myself,
you,
well,
Alex?
if you've listened to any of our episodes, you know that I've had a kid in the last 2 years, and she's the love of my life now, man. I just I love her so much. But yeah, I mean, a lot of big things in the works that I can't really talk about at the moment. But I mean, yeah, man, in the last 3 years, it's been pretty neat having opportunities come and go. And I don't know. I definitely feel like this is one of the things, having the podcast is one of the things that I like talking about the most. Like whenever I meet new people, I love saying, oh yeah, I've got a podcast. You can, check us out. And people usually are very excited to check it out. So, I mean, this podcast has really opened a lot of doors because people like when others talk a lot, I guess. I found that people love when people talk, and I know that my voice is totally gone. Like I said, I just flew back from Florida in the intro, so I'm super jet lagged right now. But hey, any chance I can get to do this, I'm always here.
For sure.
Not always
I think
here. I'm
that's the
actually
biggest
not always
takeaway.
here. Yeah.
But just
last week,
it's fun.
Last week I wasn't here.
We've had a ton of fun over the past 3 years, and I think just the idea of being able to cheer you guys on, and then you guys supporting me, that
Absolutely.
like I didn't have
Yeah.
near anything when we started, and we got to know each other, and you're some of my best friends that I have, and it's just we get a weekly excuse to talk. We record it, but it's just a way to make sure we connect, because there's a lot of people, especially over the past couple of years, where you fall out of connecting with them, and it's just tougher to do so. Like it should be as easy as possible. You're some WebEx or Zoom or FaceTime away from talking and connecting with people, but it's still, you fall out of connecting with people, and just having the podcast to keep with you guys, and just always having that kind of fun and enjoyment of stuff's always coming out. There's always new movies and TV shows and stuff happening in pop culture, and I love to hear you guys' opinions on it.
Even in the midst of a pandemic, there was still stuff for us to talk about. It was pretty cool. Well, and speaking of pandemic, we went through some major changes in the podcast during the pandemic. I mean, think about Artist Alley. Think about the all of the con stuff that we did with the Nerds Unite groups. I mean, there was some really cool things that we did throughout all that.
Yeah, and there was
It's
less
funny
content
because-
too.
Yeah, the first year we got to go to San Diego Comic-Con and host a panel at San Diego Comic-Con in person within like 4 months of starting up. And then Funko Hollywood opened another like 4 months after that. And then you transition to 2020, and we try to host a virtual con for San Diego's replacement. We do this whole Artist Alley segment, and we experiment with filling that void of everything going virtual. And it's so different how those 2 years are, but we somehow found stuff to talk about for both years. That's why I end all of our podcasts with, I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, because I never know, but there's going to be something.
There always is.
Yeah.
There always is. Yeah, that's been a lot of fun. I think we're just inventive. We kind of had to look at what's going on in the world and reinvent the wheel. And I don't know how successful our Artist Alley was, but I think that it was a lot of fun for me, and I think it was a lot of fun for the people involved. I think the people that got to watch it, whether it was live or on Twitch or whether it was on YouTube, we got a lot of feedback. I think that's probably the most feedback I remember getting. Or this Mixer back then, yeah. But we got a lot of feedback from our fans about that, and they really enjoyed it, and they kind of wanted to see us do it again. So we've had a few artists back since then, but not quite in the same capacity. But it was a lot of work, but I think it was work that paid off. So I think we had some really fun conversations with people in the industry.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is like, I got introduced to a lot of artists through Artist Alley. Like, I can go to Disney World or Disneyland now, and I can walk through some of these shops, and I'm like, I'll see a T-shirt with a certain character, or even at Universal, and I go, I interviewed that artist.
Right.
Like, it's so neat to be able to do that and like think, wow, this was someone that I've talked to, and they're as big as being in Disney World. Like, that's kind of huge.
Yeah,
I think that's something that I think that's kind of like a tribute to what Alex is saying is, I think the Artist Alley we had for the San Diego Comic-Con one is that I remember exactly when we're getting ready to start, I was in kind of keeping track of who we're bringing on as artists, and then we would come on, we would bring the guest on and be like, oh my God, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so.
Right.
I'm like, Like it blew my mind that we were able to at least get some of those high profile guests to come on just to talk. Now, would they do it again? I don't know, but the fact that we're able to get that
Yeah, we
opportunity,
duped them
to
once. I
talk-
don't know if we could do them the second time.
I just think that's kind of we had that, like you said, Prague. You dreamed it, and even though it was a wild dream, something far out of reach that we had thought it would be, the fact that we got that opportunity to do it at least that 1 year,
Yeah,
and whenever it happens again, it is what it is. But we took those huge steps to make it possible. If it was just for us to enjoy it, it's fine. If nobody else enjoyed it, it is what it is. But the fact that we don't have to say that because we know people who actually enjoyed experiencing those interviews, not just ours, but everybody else in their Nerds Unite group. And I'm proud of our group, and I'm proud of everybody else that contributed to that. And that just goes to like what Trevor's saying, is that this podcast is created not just our group of people, us four as a family, but it created a larger group of podcast family. And it's awesome to see that those groups are still carrying on since then. And
absolutely, yeah.
No, some great friends of ours that went on and went like, hey, these guys did a podcast, we could probably do that. And they've gone on to do their own thing successfully, and it's they've kind of had their own spin on it, and it's been fantastic to see that.
Shout out to us being, if those guys can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, right. But I've always looked at it like that, man. Hey, if you can make it in California, you can make it anywhere.
There you go.
That type of thing. Yeah. Oh, you just gotta keep that
face.
positive attitude. Well, and not all of the artists were hits either. We had some duds in there, which is
a no
weird.
show.
Like, so what was that?
And a no show.
Yeah, and a no show.
Yeah, and a no show.
Oh, when we had to do our own art.
There's a lot of learning. That's what the podcast is a learning experiment of what not only works for us, but works for our fans, and then works for wanting to do this. Because if it feels like a chore to come up with a topic, you're not doing it right. We had some lulls in there where it's like, oh, what are we going to come up with? I'm completely out of ideas. And just to kind of pivot into being like, okay, I kind of finally figured out what we do best. And that's why the Artist Alley was great. It's awesome. You can go back and listen to it, but it's not necessarily our best stuff. And interestingly enough, one of our first things we ever did was talk about Game of Thrones. And now it's some of the stuff we always do. We talk about Mandalorian or WandaVision or Loki. It's so much fun to talk about shows on a weekly basis, and we're really good at it.
Yeah, and I think
we all have strong opinions.
Yeah, that too. Yes, we have very strong opinions. Very hot takes.
Hot takes.
But that's the thing, is like we weeded out all the stuff that didn't work, and now we're finding the stuff that does work. Like, for instance, this episode probably won't get a lot of numbers, but that's okay. We're reliving this for us as well. Like, this is good for us. And I just didn't have a chance to watch any movies, so
I know, when y'all told me to come on, I thought we were going to talk about Turning Red. I was like, I'm excited to talk about that movie today.
I was here for it. I watched it 5 times to make sure.
I got my notes.
It's a topic, man. Top 3 Pixar movies and a discussion about Turning Red to follow the Encanto formula exactly perfectly, because you know what works.
Yeah,
this is why big studios do this, man. You can be like, oh, why are they making the same movies all the time? It works.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah, exactly. It works. Money talks. It
does work. Well, and that's the thing, is
money.
Like, and we've definitely branched out as well. We've branched out into doing, we were doing secondary shorts for a little while, which turned into doing trailer reviews, and trailer reviews are some of our hottest episodes. It's crazy how much people want to watch other people talk about trailers.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally down with. I don't mind having, but it's cool because we actually get to throw in our opinion of what, like, for instance, the Jurassic World in Jurassic Park. You got to talk about your love, Trevor, of Jurassic Park before you even got to the trailer. And you did that all on your own. And honestly, that was such a good episode. And like I said, by you doing it alone, you did a great job. and people watched it. You got numbers on it.
I mean, how could you not love talking about Jurassic Park?
Well, and I sent you guys that picture. I was just in Florida, and there was this car show, and it's all these
that was
muscle
awesome.
cars. And then in the back, this is way in the back of the mall, there's this Jurassic Park Jeep. Like, not a Jeep. It was like the Suburban, the
SUV,
green and red
Yeah.
Suburban. I'm like, this is insane. Like, he even had like CCTV cameras on the inside, and like it was like all old school tech was all on the inside. It was pretty neat. But yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, Jurassic Park.
Like, I know you
Who
have the
doesn't love it?
DeLorean, but if I could got any pop culture car, it would definitely be the Jurassic Park SUV.
There you
It's a
go.
good one.
Why not, man? Why not? Buy what you love.
Yeah.
So,
Or
do we
sell
want
it
to go
later.
over maybe our like favorite episodes throughout these 3 years?
I don't know if I can
That sounds
remember an
fun.
episode, but yes, I will try.
Well, we've
Yeah.
almost got. Is it almost 200 episodes at this point?
That's one thing we also did was
Maybe.
stop keeping count.
Yeah, they made it like, I'm not sure. Yes.
I don't know either, man. But I think we're close to 200.
I would
Wouldn't
think
it be wild if this episode was 200?
Let's
I
just
think
say
we
that it
surpassed
is.
200.
200 episode.
Yeah, welcome
If
to
someone
the 200th
wants to
episode.
counter that and count, you have a lot of time on your hands, by all means.
Yeah. Well, I can go,
ahead,
first.
Josh.
All right,
So my favorite one, I know I've said different episodes, different favorites, but at this time I would have to say that it would have to be the Hollywood one, since it was the last time we've all been in the same room
Oh,
with each other.
Josh, that's like
That was a
So-
good one too. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think it means more now than it did before, just because we had no clue what was going to happen between now and
Yeah.
then. So I really wish I could go back in time and value that time more than I do now. So
right.
That's
So,
a great way of looking at it.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so that was a good episode. Just the fact that we had all our friends there, or a good amount of them at least, as our live audience, and even then they were able
Live
to
studio
contribute
audience.
to the conversation. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was great having Damien have his microphone kit, and we were able to pass the microphone around to each person. Like, we had Ben, we had Gary, we had JD was there, Corgi was there. I mean, you had all these people, and some people even went off and created their own podcasts as well. I mean, I don't know, it's pretty cool, man. That was a
Yeah.
really cool day. Actually, I think I was just as tired that day recording that one as I am on this one, because I was working that event.
Yeah, you worked it
Yeah.
all day. But it was a lot of fun. I agree, Josh. Good
Yeah, it
call
was.
on that one.
And that was in
Yeah.
Corgi's suite
Yeah.
right there at Hollywood and Vine. I can't think of what the hotel is, but yeah. Oh, he had
Yeah,
a
I know,
nice
just the W.
suite.
That's a
man.
nice one.
And I'm sorry if I missed any names of anybody else that was in there. I know that there was a bunch of people in the room, but it's been over a year since that happened. So, Trevor, you
lost
got
his
one for
memory.
us?
Yeah, that was a tough one. So I went back through our whole list, and I know we did the horror bracket, and I always love brackets, and we have that March Madness time right now. But with that, when we did this best sequels of all time, we did it a back-to-back episode because it was so long. Like, our plan was to do one episode, and it turned out it was episodes 56 and 57 because there was just so much to say about sequels. We did the opening round in the first episode. It's already an hour. It's like, oh, we should probably cut this up. And just like some of the lines from that whole podcast. Like, I remember the time that Shrek 2 almost took down aliens. Like, that was
know,
one of
what's-
the best conversations.
What's trending on
the
Netflix right now?
we've ever had.
Just like what's trending on Netflix right now? It's Shrek, right? So it's
Ridiculous.
like, you see,
Yeah.
that jip-
Shrek 2 is iconic.
Yeah, Shrek 2 will trend more often than Aliens. Maybe Shrek 2 should
Oh,
have won.
absolutely.
I
need a hero,
fought for
man.
it.
Yeah, me too. Let's bring it up again. Let's fight again.
I tell you what, man, those bracket episodes were so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. I loved
That was a good
the Halloween one was so good.
Yeah, the horror.
Do you guys
ones
remember
are
what sequel we
fun.
picked to win?
Yeah, Terminator 2.
Was it Terminator 2
Oh, okay.
to win it all?
Yeah, it won the whole
Yeah.
thing. Oh, I know,
too.
because I fought hard for
Yeah.
it, and so did Sully. So yeah.
Oh, that's right. Sully came on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second
Sully-
one.
Sully, the guy who really kind of got us all into this too. He helped us through,
Big help.
huge help into getting the podcast off the ground. And honestly, like that's a huge thanks to him. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Shout out to Sully.
Prague, I know that you said that you may be sharing one with someone. So
Sharing what?
your favorite episode.
Oh my God.
Sorry, there was a mosquito flying right by me and I lost track of my words as
Oh, special guest. Come
Yeah, bring him
back. This
on. Come
mosquito.
on.
keep those guys out of here, man.
I mean the sequel bracket was going to be mine, but I'll pick another one. I really like the Artist Alley. I as much as I don't miss having to get a guest to come on the show, book them, figure out mic situations and all the stuff. Like it's a pain in the butt, to be honest. But sometimes you can get like a really great guest, and it's a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed Nathan Hamill. I thought he was a great guest.
Yeah.
That he ended up going. Not only did he do like the like hour and a half, almost 2 hour live that we did on Twitch, but he stayed around for an entire podcast episode after that, and then we kept talking after that. So to have somebody who is in pop culture, part of pop culture history, and to be that excited to be on the show and to do the kind of the whole show and tell thing of his own artwork, like that's kind of what you want in a guest too, is you want that kind of dynamic. So we really lucked out with that one, and it was just enjoyable. It's kind of like the one time where we were doing kind of everything. So we were doing the lives, we were doing our podcast, we were doing our shorts. So it all just kind of culminated, I think, with that moment. So that was a good one.
That was great. Yeah, and like you said, the whole show and tell. He was bringing out sketches that he did
everything,
when he was like 5 years old.
Yeah, it was neat. Stuff he did on the sets of Star Wars, and it's like it's crazy.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now those Artist Alleys, I think we still have them up on our Twitch. That might be something that maybe I can download and throw onto YouTube, or if anybody's even interested, you can check us on our Twitch channel. Or maybe I'll
some are
throw
on
them
YouTube,
onto-
I think. I don't know which
Are
ones,
they?
but I think there were some. I don't know if it was Artist Alley itself, but some of our artist series were posted. So it's kind of fun to go back and see them.
I think the
been through a few
Nathan
of them.
Hamill one was posted on YouTube. Yeah. But my favorite episode is a recent one. I loved our discussion on the artist versus the art.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
That was a
loved
very
that
good one.
because we had been doing so many movie reviews, movie trailers, movie reactions, all that stuff. And it was nice to kind of go back and kind of have a topic and just talk about it. Like what our thoughts are on all of that. And honestly, I think you guys even changed my mind on a few things, which was really cool. Nice. And I really dug that. Now, there is one thing that I did want to bring up. We got a review through that episode. Someone had posted a review on iTunes. It says, "Well done, 5 stars. Was nervous going into an episode on cancel culture / separating art from artist, but walked away with some thoughts to chew on and appreciative of the conversation, especially the willingness to disagree and in a productive way. Look forward to also checking out some of the lighter episodes. Thanks for sharing." And that is from a Kai Bobby. So thank you, Kai Bobby, for that review. That was actually, when I got that review, I was like, this is really cool. This is something that like, I want to hang my hat on. I like that. I think, it makes us, it means that someone listened to us and they actually got something out of it. Yeah. And that's the way that I looked at that.
With topics like that.
Exactly. That's why movie reviews are easy.
No, they are. I mean, you just go in, you review it. A topic like that is something we've been chewing on for a long time. It wasn't like we just came up with that week. We've been talking about that for months, that topic. It kept coming up during different reviews, like, oh, so-and-so is in this film, or so-and-so directed this. So we really talk about that aspect of it. And said, no, we should talk about that in its own separate podcast. So we think it's an important topic. It's really kind of like what everyone's talking about in Hollywood right now is cancel culture. And, do we have to now burn everything that anyone's ever done? Like all that kind of stuff. And I think we made sure that we went at it from all different angles rather than just being like, oh, no, one view at it. So I think we did really well. So I'm glad. I'm proud of that episode. I
Yeah,
think.
Absolutely.
having a topic without a right answer, I think, is
Mhm.
going to make the
Yeah.
best, deepest discussion.
It's thought provoking. Think for yourself out there too. Just like we're just here, kind of giving our opinions on it, and we don't have the answers, like we said in that episode. So,
Right. And I think it's
Yep.
episodes like that if I have an opinion about something, it's nice hearing what you guys have to say, because it could change the way I think about a lot of things, because I can be a little stubborn. And whenever but and honestly, I like being open to that type of stuff. I like being having the discussions with people. Like, I don't want to just poo-poo something and just not ever think about it and just be like, no, this is
right.
having someone say, well, hold on, look at it in a different light. Then it's like, oh, okay, wow, I never really thought about that. So that's where I think I kind of loved that episode the most, is because I'm able to, I don't know, I felt like I was able to change my mind on a few things.
Nice.
Yeah. You guys did that.
Well, I think it also helps that like the four of us have like very different viewpoints in life too. Like we've come together, we're not exactly the same type of people that have the same, we love pop culture as a whole, but I think each of us have kind of our own little pockets in it too that we also love, or the way we view it might be different than each other. And when we come together, we can really have a good discussion about our differing viewpoints. That really kind of helps us out. I think there's been times where I've been like, for Encanto, I'm like, I don't really feel like watching an animated film. And we're like, nope, we're going to do it. And then I did it and I loved it. So,
Right? It was such a good movie too.
Yeah. It's the nice thing about having this podcast, it's kind of helped me. Like Trevor has mentioned many times that, there's so much new stuff out there. Stop rewatching old stuff. And I've taken that to heart recently, and I keep watching new stuff. And I'm like, this is fantastic. This is great.
I'm doing the
So.
same. I'm doing the same. I actually, so for instance, I was just on the airplane, and on the airplane they had a whole slew backlog of movies that I could choose from. And before I got onto the plane, I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about the movie Friday. And I was like, oh man,
the
Friday,
old movie Friday.
The old movie Friday from 1995. And then I get on the airplane and they had Friday. I was like, well, I've got to watch Friday now. So I start watching Friday, and then I'm like, what am I doing? I know that there's at least 3 or 4 brand new movies that I still have not seen in this list. I need to just watch something new. And that's what I did. I ended up watching Ghostbusters, which, by the way, I cried at the end. Woo! That's a man. Egon, you. Anyways, so yeah, and that's the thing, is like, yeah, you watch new stuff sometimes. Gotta watch new stuff. Can't keep living in the past.
That's true.
Yep.
And
Except
I
for
mean,
now.
shout out to like Prague and I have similar kind of, not necessarily interests in genres, but at least in kind of style of production, and focusing more like on dialogue and story development than like big fancy explosions and CGI and stuff. And so I more appreciate what he's going to recommend. And I finally got around to watching Haunting of Hill House. And I know it came out in 2018 and I'm super late to the party, but beyond scaring me just because that's how I am, it's an exceptionally well-written show and just really well-crafted, building tension throughout the entirety of it. And so now I want to watch the next one. Is it Blythe Manor, and then Midnight Mass, and just all that stuff.
Nice. Cool.
It's interesting you say that. I was, what episode was it? I can't remember exactly. It's one of the latest ones. You were talking about a movie, and I watched that movie. And when y'all speaking about Prague and Trevor specifically, I listened to it. I'm like, did I? I'm like, did I watch the same thing they watched? Because y'all looked into this stuff more than I did, and I'm like,
you guys are nerds. I laughed. What is this focal point stuff?
And there's a purpose for me saying all this.
Yeah.
Is that whoever's listening to this episode right now, and this is not to just say something nice about Prague and Trevor because they're my friends, but you are very lucky to have these two guys talking about this stuff, because they have a passion for movies and TV shows to look this deep into it. And that's something that for me, being a part of this podcast has kind of encouraged me to do the same thing. You know, I wasn't always one to go watch movies, the latest thing and stuff like that. I kind of like, oh, I'll watch it when it comes out later, like on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you watch a movie, y'all two specifically, y'all kind of have me look at it differently. Not so much just to immerse myself in a single character, but looking at it as a whole, you know, looking at different pieces of how what music's going on, like what's telling the story that's not actually saying a thing, you know.
Right.
And you know, I was watching which is Don't Look Up this past weekend with my wife, and they started playing the music. Like it starts off kind of serious, they start playing the music, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a joke. It's just by how the titles are and everything like that. And she's like, what do you mean? It's like, no, listen to the music. It's not gonna don't take this movie seriously.
Right.
And I was like, this is like something that I kind of like inherited with Trevor and Prague and just the podcast in general. And it just, that's, to me, it's just like it makes it excites me in the sense that I get to see movies in a different way. And I you know, like I said, whoever's listening to this podcast, you are very lucky to have these group of guys here, because they're gonna have y'all watch movies in a different way, and kind of you listen to the episode and go back and watch that movie or show and be like, oh shoot, I can't believe I didn't see that. It was right in front of me.
Right.
You know. So no, but I
thought
I'd just throw that in real quick.
And love the movies you hate.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's more than that too, though, because like I'll see kind of like, oh, Trevor just hates everything, and I'm like, for the Batman, they're like, oh, Trevor hates everything. I'm like, I give it a 4 out of 5. What am I supposed to do? You still got to hold these movies to a certain standard, though, man.
Yes, you do.
Again, you don't have to, like, all these people make millions and millions of dollars. They don't really care about your single soul opinion. So hold them to a standard to make something outstanding, because there's a lot of creative people out there. We don't have to have the same creators doing the same stuff over and over again. Like, I applaud Netflix for really giving just funding to small international creators that wouldn't have an outlet for their stuff. And they're making some amazing content that we wouldn't get without just holding people to that higher standard of what's possible in creating stuff. It's easy to make something that is bright and shiny and fancy and okay, it's done. Michael Bay's made a whole career about it. But there's more to creating entertainment. Like, that's a form of entertainment for tons of people. I'm not discounting that. I'll laugh at Fast and Furious movies. They're some of the best comedy movies we have. But that doesn't mean that you also can't still hold people to higher standards, to not take the easy way out and really go into every single detail that creates a film.
Well said.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what he's done. And I'm pretty sure it was the Batman
ladies and gentlemen,
Josh, that you were thinking of.
It might have been. I can't remember exactly. I don't think it was Batman. I haven't watched Batman yet, so I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. So it might have been the music one. We did talk music.
It might have been music. It might have been the music, because I remember hearing just different things from each and every one of y'all, and then of course Michelle too. Just kind of
nice.
You know, just kind of hearing y'all's personal opinions would kind of seem more like expertise in my side. So I appreciate all the work that y'all put into it.
And we love playing at experts too, because I've never made a movie. I've never planned to make a movie, but I know what is a good movie and what isn't, because of entertainment value and the time that, again, those credits at the end of movies, most people only watch them if it's a Marvel movie. Hundreds and hundreds of people go into making these things. You can go and be like, it's a quarterback of a football team. Oh, I hate that J.J. Abrams ruined Star Wars. There's so many people that go into it. Or, oh, the Russo brothers did such a great job with Endgame. Yeah, because no one else did anything, right?
Nobody else. Not a single person. Exactly. It's like it goes back to our art versus artist thing, separating that. There's a lot more that goes into these projects than just the director.
Well,
not to say that they shouldn't have credit, but
right. And then it jumps back to our episode all about music in movies, and the I mean, right there, the fact that Josh, you now were able to spark a different emotion from a movie because the music was playing something's a certain way, and you were like, you could already tell that this is going to be different. I mean, sorry, this bug. that was more than just the director there. That was more than just your producers. But yeah, and you mentioned Michelle. So we actually have had some really awesome guests as well, like guest co-stars on the show. And I want to say Michelle has been, dude,
Spot on.
props. Dude, when she comes on, like the Harry Potter episodes, was it the Harry Potter episodes?
It was.
It
Yeah.
was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Harry Potter episodes.
Yeah,
Josh,
she's an
even
artist.
your wife coming on. Your wife did
Mhm.
such a phenomenal job, and she's not even a podcaster. She's
No.
and same with Michelle. Neither one
Yeah.
of these girls are podcasters, and they came on and they blew me away. I'm like,
Mhm.
let's have them on every week.
Yeah.
I think it just
Why
goes to
not?
show it's like, it's good to have perspective from different angles, not specifically male and female, but from different people, because I mean, every day you can hear us talk and we might have the same perspective of every single thing sometimes, but
Yeah.
some people are more passionate about certain aspects of pop culture than others are, and you can see that with Michelle, and I think going back to the music one, to hear her insight to go even deeper and deeper about different things, it's like I'd never looked at it that way, but that's one thing you come to appreciate every guest that comes on. You get to hear their perspective on if it's their art or something that we're talking about, and I love it. Love that we do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, we had Mountain Meg on. She did amazing on our Marvel episode. We had Joey come on. We've had Gary come on. We've had Clint come on. We've had all kinds of
Dwayne.
people, and they always bring a different perspective.
Yeah.
Always, yeah, it's kind of fun. It's not always what we like, it's like stuff where we probably would be, dissing aspects of certain films or genres, and they come on, they're like, "Oh no, I love that about that genre," or whatever. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
"Oh,
mean, it's
okay."
also just like Josh. I really appreciate what you said about me and Prague, but Alex's perspective, he always, I'm the everyman. You need that perspective
Yeah.
because sometimes you just want something on in the background. Like I'm working
Right.
or, I'm making dinner and I just want something on in the background. I'm not sitting down and, eye guzzling this thing and analyzing every single frame. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, I got something in the background. It's fun. I've seen it before. It's, you still need that perspective because there's a bunch of people who do that.
Yeah, no, that's
Right.
true.
Most people. Yeah.
But that's the thing is like with that everyman perspective as well. It's like all of a sudden, there's certain movies that if they catch your interest, then you definitely tune in a little bit harder and a little bit deeper rather than if it's just not catching your interest. Like, all right, well, I guess I'll go cook and clean. I don't know.
Yep. That's been
Yeah,
fun.
overall, I
And then
just
also-
appreciate what each and every one of us do, and that was always the main purpose of us starting this, is because we got along so well. We always had our own likes and dislikes of pop culture, and it's just I think for us, we kind of create that perfect formula to create this podcast and create
storm.
a unique experience every single time. So no, I appreciate Joe.
Oh, I
you,
like
Josh.
that. I'm glad we're able to keep it fresh every week, which is really
part
tough
of that-
after 200 episodes.
It's just also the way pop culture, like I know it's not emphasized over the past 3 years, but pop culture and nerd, like just being a nerd, it's not like a derogatory term with my group of friends. It's a term of endearment, and just pop culture and all the like trendy Star Wars and Marvel and all that nerdy niche stuff is now mainstream. It's not just over the past 3 years, but it's building every single year we've done the podcast, where the biggest things that are being done are quote unquote nerd stuff. And I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too. Like back when we were all in high school or middle school, if you talked about Star Wars or anything like that, that'd get you beaten up.
It's
That
true.
was nerd stuff. Yeah.
Totally changed now. Now you've got those jocks who are now taking their kids to go watch all those Star Wars movies.
Yeah, because they were secretly watching it and they still
Yeah,
wanted
they
to-
were.
That's what we found out. It's like, oh, wait a second. They were all doing it behind our backs. Calling us out in the playground. I get you. I see what's going on here.
What is going on?
What is happening? Are you being mugged, sir?
I sure hope
He's
not.
fine.
Yeah.
I think you're fine. But here we are, 3 years, and it seems like now it seems like we're kind of more on the watch and review kind of strategy and talking points as well, which I think is kind of our stride. I think we're doing pretty well with that. I don't know.
People seem to like it.
Yeah, of
At
course. It's
least
always like,
that's what
hey,
our
are you
numbers
guys going to
show.
do this? Yeah, like, are you going to watch this or talk about that? And we're like, oh, yeah, probably we should. You know, because they expect that now and they kind of like that. And
Yeah.
works.
That is one thing that I'm noticing on our social media channels is we do get requests for us to do certain things. And I think we need to maybe we just start taking more requests. Shoot, maybe we do a Patreon. Shoot us $5. We'll send your movie to the top of the list.
There you go. We're the Wedding Singer Podcast. Just give us your song requests. We'll play 'em live.
Give us your song. I guess we're
it
changing
also
our
ties
name.
into But it's a focus thing because when we started out, like you mentioned, we had sections. It's like when we came together, we're like, oh, we like so many things. You know, we like movies and TV and video games and collectibles. Let's talk about all of it. And then we
All of
focused it
it.
down because we had, we got rid of the sections and now we had topics. It's like, oh, let's talk about zombie movies. And then those came into a listicle and it's like, oh, this zombie movie and this zombie movie. Now we have 10 zombie movies. And so now we focus more on that. And so rather than talking about 4 different sections, we're just talking about movie. Now instead of talking about 10 movies, we're talking about 1 movie. And I think it's just focus makes it easier for everybody, for us to talk about, for listeners to be like, okay, I know you guys are talking about the Batman, so that's my one thing that I need to know going into this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for the viewer or listener to hone in on that episode. So I think maybe in the next year we just focus on individual scenes for a whole episode. We'll just talk about that scene.
We're talking just about the Batmobile introduction scene.
That's it. Just that scene. Nothing
I
else
like it.
for a full hour.
When I first got into podcasts or like listening to podcasts, I came across this podcast that would go through a movie. And obviously I was looking up like Back to the Future type of podcast. Came across this one podcast. They would go through Back to the Future 1 minute at a time.
Wow.
Every episode was 1 minute of Back to the Future. And they started at the Universal logo.
God. Yeah.
And they would just right once the 1 minute mark hit, they would turn it off and they would just discuss from there. So there was a lot of episodes where they're just talking about the credits at the very beginning. Okay, here's Steven Spielberg for 30 seconds, so let's talk all Steven Spielberg. I mean, it was pretty cool, but then they started losing track, and it just didn't. It lost me.
So I guess we won't do that. Okay, so
We're not gonna do
wrong.
that. Let's not do that.
I was wrong. Okay.
I mean, but imagine how easy that would be.
Yeah, sure. I don't
Find
know.
a movie that you really like, and you just go through one until you get like one of those 3-hour movies. Then we're sitting here for
years. Yeah.
That would be
most
180 episodes just for Lord of the Rings.
I mean, I could do that, but yeah.
We should do the Batman.
That's almost
Scene by
3
scene.
hours too.
It is. Yeah.
A fight scene that takes up like 5 minutes. Could you imagine? Like 5 episodes is just one fight scene.
Yeah. There's that punch.
Yep.
All right.
It's still coming.
I wonder
if
how
it's
they
gonna hit the
choreograph
guy.
that bad boy.
Find out next week. I am what? I am Batman? I am. God, no.
Justice,
Don't know what he is.
Vengeance.
He's one of those things. I don't know.
I mean,
I'll
we
find
did the
out.
opposite end where we talked about the entirety of Stranger Things season 3 in
Oh,
one episode, and it went forever.
The best thing that came out of the episode was the intro song. So that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The Never-Ending
Never-Ending
Story
Story.
intro song, one of the best things we've ever done.
I blocked that out of my memory. Thank you.
Speaking
That
of
was,
songs,
huh.
that is something that we used to do every episode. Was we
Alex,
would
what
almost
happened?
spend 2 hours trying to figure out lyrics to a song
that we
and
made up
then-
for
and
each
we would-
episode.
I'm so glad we don't do that anymore. I thought it was gonna be super funny and like really cool that we did this. I don't think I'm pretty sure the majority of people who listen to us just fast forward through that first like few seconds.
Yeah.
I know.
Josh's like, I liked it.
Very creative.
Yeah, it's creative.
It was creative.
2
It's hard
hours
being
of
creative that
creativity.
much.
Whew. But maybe not worth it.
No,
So
it definitely was not.
It's part of experimenting and figuring it out, though.
exactly. Growing pains,
And I think it does come back to our panel at Comic-Con. It was how to start a pop culture podcast, and the one message is consistently the same. Enjoy it. Have fun. If you don't enjoy it and have fun, it's going to become work and you're not going to do it. Because once you get started, you have to understand you might be doing this for 3 years. So you better enjoy the people you're talking to and you better enjoy what you're talking about.
It's true, man.
It's been a good 3 years.
Absolutely.
A good group of guys here.
Yeah.
I look forward to it every week, man. It's crazy.
fun.
Like the weeks that I can't make it, it beats me up because I'm like, I'll listen to the episode and I'm like, oh no.
Oh, I wish I said that. I would have said this here. Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but dude, I look forward to so many more years if we can make it
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
Let's bring this to
Yep.
the grave.
Life changes that we talked about. So we're still here.
We're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Goodness, how
to
much
everyone, follow us at Secondary Heroes everywhere and tell us what your favorite Secondary Heroes episode, moment, live stream, whatever have you was. Let us know. And
Throw it in the
we hope
comments.
you enjoyed. Yeah, throw it in the comments on YouTube. Leave us a review. Do all that fun stuff. And I don't know what we're talking about next week. We had this cool 3-year anniversary, so we didn't have to come up with a topic. And until then, we hope you enjoyed. We'll talk to you next time.
Prog out.
See ya.
Adios, y'all.
Good shit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. March 4th, 2019, a day that will live in infamy. It was the start of the Secondary Heroes podcast, and now, 3 years later, we are celebrating our 3-year anniversary with a trip down memory lane of all the things that have happened to our podcast and the world over the past 3 years. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, this is Prog.
Hot off this jet lag, this is Alexander Wolfgang.
See, it's been 3 years
Every
and
fucking
y'all forget
time.
about me already. This is Josh.
Hold on. What just happened?
I have no idea. Oh,
Trevor.
Unless Trevor's
Trevor.
just making fun of you. I don't know.
I don't know what happened, Trevor. What's going on?
So you kind of just steamrolled Josh?
I'm so used to going after Prague. How can I
I know,
steamroll?
that's all of it.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Exactly. It felt so natural.
I didn't realize Josh went. Sorry, Josh.
It's okay. I mean, it happens.
Wait, you went at the same time as me, Josh?
No, I had a feeling. I saw you start making a move. I was like, okay, Alex.
And you're like, okay.
It's not like we discussed it beforehand or anything.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's all right.
I can
I'm
go after
forgotten.
Josh. Hey, man.
That's true. You used to be the closer of the openers. So,
Sorry.
yeah.
The
It would
closer of the openers.
Should we just restart the whole thing?
No.
The recording?
All we got to
No?
do is just do that intro video portion again. And this can be... I'll do the editing tomorrow. It's not a big deal.
All right.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. I got it. Okay. I guess seriously, dude. They asked me to do videos at home for the pop quiz finale. It took me 2 hours to record like 5 minutes because I kept it up.
Alex and I timed our thing together.
I couldn't believe that we did that
Beautiful.
perfectly.